All right, welcome back, guys. Hope everyone's having a great evening. We're going to take a look at a variety, a good one that you guys can look out for. I think this particular variety on this Washington quarter that I'm going to share with you is under-searched by a little bit. There was an example that did come across the live coin Q&A email. It's a beautiful specimen. Not particularly a high grade one, but that's okay. It's a tough one to find for sure. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. And there's a number of varieties for this specific date of Washington quarter we're going to look out for here momentarily. Before we jump in, I figure it's kind of high time to take a look at some of the events that's going to be coming up here this summer. We're on PCGS.com. This is the grading website for currency and coins. Just a great website for a multitude of various research tools, just to really deep dive into not only the grading part of things, but really getting to know what exactly makes a coin a certain grade. It's a website that I like to go to not only to submit my own coins. I've been a member of PCGS for quite some time, but anyone who doesn't have an account can always go on here and take advantage of these tools that are at your disposal. So we have a few events coming up. Now this one here is next month. The Long Beach Expo is going to be coming here June 30th to July 2nd here in Southern California. So PCGS will be on hand. It's one of the bigger events. And I'm kind of, willing to say and bet that this event right here kind of anchors the summertime activity for numismatics, where generally it slows down a little bit. Okay, you've heard me allude to that here in recent videos, and that I still stand firmly on that stance. With the pandemic easing up and all that stuff, people are heading back to vacationing and doing all that stuff, but also at the same time they're still participating in these much larger shows. So the Long Beach one, if you're going to be in Southern California during this event, is always fantastic. I've been to a few Long Beach expos myself, albeit it's been a few years. Always a great time. Just make sure you bring your wallet or your pocketbook. Another one coming up, this is going to be a lot more closer to where we're at right now. We're, as a matter of fact, today is June 9th. So this is the beginning of the Whitman Baltimore Summer Expo. So that's in Baltimore, Maryland. Again, PCGS will be on hand. If you guys are looking to, really not only wanting to submit coins for grading, PCGS will have their own booth. They're number 1130, as you can see there. But also, in addition, you could find a lot of really cool stuff. This is going to be one of those shows where you're going to have some of the most high-profile coins out there. So it doesn't matter what your price range or your budget is. There's bound to be something that you can find here at the Whitman Baltimore show, big and small. So check those two things out, but let's go ahead and dive right into the variety that we're going to be looking for. And there are a number of websites that you could use to find out about certain varieties. Okay, in this particular instance, we're going to be looking at the 1965 Washington quarter. There's a few double dies that you guys need to know about. I've probably touched on them at some point in the past, but I always like to do kind of like these update videos to kind of double down, show you some of the various attributes of that double die. Maybe there's some die markers on there, things like that. So from this page, this is the main splash page of the website. We're going to go into price guide, and you can see my mouse pointer there with the little circular pulse thing. So we're in the price guide. We're going to go ahead and scroll down to the quarter section. So there's a number of Washington quarters. Okay, we're going to go ahead and focus on the good old 1932 to 1998 old school eagle-backed quarters. So we're going to click into that. And the reason why I say that this is going to be a good quarter for you guys to look for is that it's a copper nickel clad. All right, it's not silver, which is going to make the job a little bit easier for you. One of the varieties is very attributable, even in lower grades. So that's also another bit of good news for you guys. So let's go ahead and scroll all the way down till we get to 1965. Believe it or not, it's on page 1, all the way at the bottom. So you see 1965, you see all of the grades and then the valuation prices that go across. This is Mid-State 67. So we're going to go and click this little plus symbol that's in the box here. And what this is going to do is expand open the area where you have the 3 main featured FS numbered double dies. There's 2 main double die obverses and 1 double die reverse. We're going to take a look at all 3 of them. The main one is going to be the FS101. So to look at some data on that particular variety, going all the way to even the grading part of it, go ahead and click the 6-digit number to the left of that. That's going to be a hyperlink that will take you into this page where you're going to see really beautiful true view images of the coins in addition to close-ups. This is, again, an invaluable tool if you're looking to not only kind of grasp the idea of what a certain grade looks like. Let's say you're interested in grading something, but you don't know exactly what, say, a Mid-State 65 looks like, or a 66, or, you know, some of the more impactful grades that's going to make you money if that's your thing. But in this particular case, we're going to look at the FS101, which is right here. It's also FS026, which is an older categorization number, or an older catalog number from probably the 80s, when Favaz and Stanton were doing their attributions for these varieties. So if you hover your mouse pointer over the coin, it's going to give you close-ups. All right, a lot of your interesting bits and pieces of this coin is going to be on the obverse, and that's the front of the coin with the date and George Washington's profile. But you can see right there in the motto, "In God We Trust," the amazing amount of doubling. You could see that very plainly, especially on the word God. You could see the doubling. You see a lot of separation there in all 3 letters. And then you can even see some in the word we as well, and then trust. You see it a little bit less on the word in. As a matter of fact, that the I is a little bit struck through there. So it's either a clogged eye or a little bit of grease. But you're also going to get a lot of doubling on the profile. Now, a lot of what you're seeing here is mechanical doubling. This is one of those circumstantial dates where you could get a real hub doubled double die and also mechanical shelf-like doubling all in one coin. But you could see the shelf doubling going also on the eye area, which is pretty neat. While not a error in itself or variety, mechanical doubling does add a little bit of appeal to a coin. But you're also going to get some of that genuine double the die on the word liberty as well. So if you look at like the bottom of the letters, like the letter I there, you see the notching on the bottom right hand side of the I. You could see some doubling in the B, the inner curl areas, or the inner kind of like closed in area of the B. There's your E right there as well. And then here's where you get some really nice split notching, and that's the R and also the T. So you could see that bottom left-hand side of the T and then the bottom left-hand side of the Y. You even have a lot more of the doubling in the letter Y in all areas of that letter. So this is one to look out for. Again, it's very distinguishable in even lower grades, going all the way to like VF25. There have been a few examples that have graded in that lower VF kind of grade range, which is always going to be a nice catch when you do come across it. Here's a little bit of a cutout close-up of more of the information right there with arrows. So not all the varieties on PCGS's website have these guide arrows to let you know what to look out for. So this is a welcome added addition for this, because it's such a strong double die. They want you to know what to look for. All right, so a lot of the things that I touched on with the notching and the doubling in the word liberty and in the motto "In God We Trust" and the top of the dates as well. It's not as spectacular, but it's there. It's going to be hard to see on much lower grades. So that's that one there. All right, so getting on down here to some grades. Some of these have been graded at some point. So there's a Mint State 62. Two of them have been graded. They have a PCGS price guide value of $750 on that one. Here's a couple more AU 58s. And then there's a couple realized sales down here in both PCGS and NGC graded fare. So you're looking at like $300 to $500 for this kind of grade here. There's one in 55, two in AU 53. There's one in AU 50. There's one in XF 45, and then there's a few in VF. So VF 25, there's two of them. VF 30, there's one that's been graded through PCGS. And it doesn't necessarily mean for every one that's ever been found or discovered, people just have to go ahead and send it off to the graders. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. At a VF level type of grade, sometimes it's not worth sending it there because you're going to have to pay for the variety attribution service to go along with the grading, and it could get pretty pricey. So on the much higher grades, we have 62. There's three Mint State 64s that have graded out, and they have put a price guide value of $1,400. But it doesn't go beyond that because there hasn't been any 64 pluses or 65s that have been found of this particular variety. All right, so that's the FS 101. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 102. So if we go and stay on the same page and just click this related coins and varieties hyperlink, you'll open up another box and then just go here to the 102. You need to know what all three of them look like, so that way you have some sort of awareness of what to look for, because if you don't have that information, you're going to be lost. So the FS 102. The doubling on this one is probably the strongest on Liberty. So there you go. See the notching there on the bottom left, and then some of that separation. It's not as dramatic as the previous coin that we looked at, and that's why this is the 102. This was discovered afterwards. There you can see on the left-hand side of the R some of the separation and that notch. Same with the E and B, and then going all the way down. It's not as fun on L and I, but it's still there. In the motto, "In God We Trust," there's maybe a little bit of light doubling. It's really not fantastic. And then on the date, yeah, it's pretty light if negligible in this particular case. There just isn't anything there. But yeah, this is another one, a good one to look out for. Again, all of that strong doubling is going to be on the word liberty on this coin. Now, this one is a little bit more scarce, and the prices do show. Mint State 65s, there have been two examples graded. They put a PCGS value of $750 on this coin, but take a look at the relevant sales. There's one that sold March of 2018 for $720. I know it's a little bit cut off here on the side. And then one in August 2014 at Great Collections for $1,650. And then another one here that sold in 2014 for $160. So toward the top end of the grade, there's only been 4 examples graded at that level. And if we go back, none. Apparently it's a tough variety to spot in much lower grades. So even dipping down into about uncirculated, it begins to become a little bit more challenging, because the separation lines on the doubled areas of Liberty begin to smooth out. All right, so they're not going to be as pronounced, and they're going to just be a lot more tougher to find on there. All right, so that is the 102 doubled die obverse. There is one more significant one to take a look at, albeit it's not my personal favorite, and that's the doubled die reverse FS 801. Okay, another cherry picker's guide variety. All three of these coins have been the cherry picker's guide for quite some time, so they're rather notable in a sense that you know they do have some collectability. But in this particular case, where we're going to look at is going to be, see, E pluribus unum. You have some doubling there at the bottoms of all the letters. Again, not my personal favorite. It's kind of minor in my personal opinion, but it's there. Like the bottom of the A, you see that? Just a little bit of doubling there. And United States of America. There's nothing on the eagle, the beak, or anything to suggest any sort of doubling. And then here on quarter, yeah, it's a C on the letter A there. At the bottom little open area, there's a little doubling. And there on the U, you can see a notch on the top right of the U. But, yeah, that's the double die reverse. Take it for what it is. This is going to be a tough one to identify on lower graded coins. So you have to make sure that you're looking really hard. Most people that generally hunt for these will normally skip out on the double die reverse, and that's the big reason why there's not a lot of them graded. There's 1 in 65. And that's a $125 coin. It's not fantastic at all. No other lower grades, and I could see why. I mean, this is the kind of doubling that would ultimately become lost as the coin wears down over time. So you can imagine trying to look for this FS 801 DDR on say a coin that would grade out VF 25. It's going to be insanely difficult, you know, and at that point, is even worth holding on to if it's like borderline, you know, if it's a borderline coin, you just don't know if it's, you know, the legit 802 or 801 rather, you know, is it worth keeping at that point because the price values are so low on it, and it's again, it's a very unspectacular double die. So those are the three main double dies for 1965. And again, you know, two very nice double die obverses on a coin that most people did not hold on to. Okay, keep in mind, this particular date, the business strike coins circulated very well. Nobody really held on to it. Furthermore, there were no mint sets produced in 1965. So it's not like people were hoarding mint sets the same way that they were doing in the 70s and 80s. You know, and then later on, like right now, you know, the best way to come across high graded examples would be to go through those mint sets. People still do it to this day. These just don't exist, and nobody saved them in rolls either. They made only special mint sets, which was a hybrid business strike / proof type of technology, type of strike, which, you know, they look kind of satiny, almost business strike like. But at the same time, they were like sharp. They were sharp as a tack. Most of the coins did not have any sort of cameo frost on them. So they were, it was kind of a unique year. So from 65 to 67, today you really have a hard time trying to find a mint state type of grade of any three of those coins. And that's why today they're so difficult in some of the higher grades. Because of the attrition level of the circulation and what it did to a lot of them. People were trying to hoard all of the 90% silver 63s and 64s, but they could care less about 65. A lot of people had a little bit of an uproar when these coins circulated. They were just, compared to the silver, nobody really wanted them. So here we are with that. So that's what I wanted to talk about, a little bit of something for you guys to hang your hat on, do a little hunting this summer. Quarters is going to be in pretty good supply out there. And the good news about this particular date of quarter is that there is going to be a lot of 1965, and they were only produced in Philadelphia. Now, because they were produced in Philadelphia, the misconception is that these only circulated on the East Coast of the U.S., not the 65P. these were distributed not only on the East Coast, but West Coast as well. So there is a great deal of circulated 65s to find out in circulation, even here in California, Oregon, Washington State, some of the other West Coast states. There's just plentiful amounts of 65s. Now, the real kind of task through all of this is going to be finding one of the double dyes. It's always useful to have a strong powered magnifier. I have a 10x or an 8x or whatever this thing is, but I also have a 30 times power magnifier. Now the 30 times power is only used in certain situations where I have to get in absolutely really close to find dye markers and things like that. But it's not my all-purpose magnifier because it really beats up your eyes. So if you don't have a magnifier, I suggest that you would get one. They're cheap, inexpensive, under $10 if you need them. I have Amazon links below in the description box down here. So go ahead and check some out. Again, they're inexpensive. Do not skimp on the hardware in order to search for some of these coins. But once you find your first variety or your first error and that magnifier came in handy, you're going to be good as gold. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Good luck, guys, for all your hunts and searches. We're going to be doing more of these kind of like videos where we're going to talk about coins you should be on the lookout for the summertime, all right? Because we're all going to have a little bit of extra time. If we're traveling, we're going to encounter a lot more change and stuff. So there's a lot to look for out there. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel and video if you haven't done so already. All of your extra support would go a long way. And I'm an avid TikToker now. Not quite the professional league TikToker, but I am on there. It's Blue Ridge Silverhound on there as well. So you guys take care. Happy hunting, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.